about the best way to prepare you for the world beyond is simply to remind you of two things. Right? So you're not going to get one final question of the day written on the board. No. There's just a couple pieces of advice I'd like to leave you with as you go forth from St. Ambrose Academy. The first one, actually themed around history, of course, is to remember the past, but don't live in it. Right? Okay, so that's fine coming from a man who makes a living off of studying the past, excavating it, making it come alive again. But what do I mean by this? Your journey only begins now. Right? So St. Ambrose Academy will always be part of your past. And I think it's very important for you, especially on this great graduation day, as you think about your future, to take some moments to look back at your own past. Right? Remembering always that it is in our past that we have the concrete root of our identity. Right? The past is the root of our identity in memory. Right? So the memories that you've made at St. Ambrose Academy, these are a very important part of your story. They're a very important part of who you are. And one final quiz, there are three aspects to St. Ambrose Academy, three qualities. Right? Do you guys remember what these are? Right? Maybe. There's many different lists of many different things. I, again, won't quiz you. St. Ambrose is Catholic. It is classical, and it is close-knit. What this means, right? You can, again, could wax poetic about various Platonic ideals. You know Plato's idea of forms because you read The Republic, yes? Yes. Good. But the point is, right, yes, we talk about St. Ambrose Academy, St. Ambrose Academy, St. Ambrose Academy. The truth of the matter is, these ideals, these lofty ideals of being Catholic, classical, and close-knit, they exist in you. They are embodied in you, our graduates. Right? So wherever you go, whatever life calls you to do, you will always remain Catholic, insofar as you live the faith of Jesus Christ joyfully and well. You will remain rooted in the classical tradition so long as you take what you've learned at St. Ambrose and apply it in your future. Right? You have a great gift in the education you've received here in the classical traditions. Right? Emphasis on truth, on virtue, on character. Take these things with you. They will always be part of you. And lastly, you are part of a close-knit community. St. Ambrose Academy will always be your home, but that doesn't mean that things won't change. Things will change profoundly after today, and that is not always a bad thing, right? Because wherever you go, I'm confident that you have the skills not only to succeed academically, not only to keep the faith and finish the race with perseverance, but to also create new community. Right, surrounded by good, holy men and women who will help make you better people as you seek to make the world a better place. So the first thing, remember the past, but don't live in it. Right? Look forward to your future. This sort of dovetails into the second point of advice here, also themed around a timeline, because that's how I think. Right? So the first thing, right, remember the past, but don't live in it. The second, have great hope for the future, but be in the present. Right? This is a very important aspect of your life. Right? High school is over, a new chapter is beginning. Right? And it is easy for you to perhaps get discouraged. Right? I could stand up here and list a laundry list of problems with our culture, right? The world outside the walls of the school and within. But that's not really going to help anyone, is it? Right? The more that I just list all of these problems, right, it may seem dark, it may seem confusing, it may seem challenging. Right? Off the top of my head, I can give a familiar example. Rampant inflation is driving economic woes. Food shortages are actually becoming common. People can't afford food. There's talk of war in Iran, even in the midst of this discussion of a ceasefire. The commander-in-chief's recent meditations are causing some scandals. The church is persecuted in both East and West. And the brave legionnaires of Rome are beset by the Picts in the north and the Germanians along the European border. No, I'm not talking about 2026. I didn't suddenly get political on you. I'm accurately describing the year 166 AD. What? Why 166 AD? Well, 166 AD, the middle of the 2nd century AD. There's a lot of problems in the world, no? I listed a couple of them, some very eerily familiar to the world in 2026, in which you will find yourselves very shortly. But the biggest question, where is the church? Where is Christ during this period? Right? There are three potential responses to the challenges of the times in which you will find yourselves when you graduate high school. You will be tempted to conform, right? Compromise, right? Just blend in with the culture. You will be tempted to close in, perhaps just reject the culture and become just radically opposed to everything, fighting tooth and nail. Or you can do what the church of the 2nd century did, which is Christianize the culture. Right? So my last sort of point of advice to you going forward is not to run from the times in which you were born. Right? Certainly do not conform to this age. Don't conform to the culture, rather transform it with the light of Christ you carry. This is how we bear witness to the gospel. This is how we bear witness to the truth. This is the reason that we study, so that our character can become a fire that kindles other fires, right? That brings other people into contact with Jesus Christ, living contact. I'm very confident that if you recognize that there is good in the world around you, there is good in this culture, it is up to you to sanctify it by your actions, right? Your call, I pray some of you will discern a vocation to the priesthood or religious life, but for most of us right now, your call is to be in the world, right? To be lay scholars, lay men, lay women, wherever life may take you. And that means bringing the light of Christ to concrete circumstances. Do not run from the world in which you are being sent, but transform it with the life of Christ. Right? St. Justin Martyr is a phenomenal example of this. Right? He was martyred around 166 AD, about 2 years before that. And so he's a good patron as you go forth, looking at how can you change history? Because I'm confident that by living the virtues that I have seen in each one of you, you will change history for the better. That is my greatest prayer for you. Thank you very much for so many years of good times, good questions, and I wish you all the very best as you go forth this day as graduates of St. Ambrose Academy. Class of 2026, thank you.